Okay, moving on. Question number 3 comes in from Ravi. Hi there, Ravi. Thank you for your question. So Ravi says, we just rented out a property we were initially going to sell, so we are complete novices. Are we legally required to include white goods such as a fridge, freezer, and washing machine and other appliances when letting out? There is a cooker and oven, but we sold the other goods when we were looking to sell. We let the property as we let the property as unfurnished, and the tenant saw exactly what was included when he viewed it. He hasn't been in the UK long and is now demanding that we provide these goods. Do we have to do this? All right, Ravi. Well, thank you for your question. Falling over my words here at the moment, but just wanted to acknowledge you on that question. It sounds to me, Ravi, as though you're what we call a self-managing landlord. It sounds as though you're actually taking the management of the property on yourself, and you may have done the tenant find yourself. And this is something that I would strongly recommend in your position, Ravi, that you find a good managing agent in your local area to manage the property for you. And the reason why I mention this is because the law is constantly changing, and there are so many pitfalls and so many things that can go wrong that you want really a third party in place to help you manage that and stay on the right side of the law, and also to take the friction out of any potential relationship headaches that you might have between a landlord and a tenant. Now, I'm not saying your tenant's trying to make your life difficult. I don't know all the situation. You say they've not been in the UK long. There is an expectation that he is demanding that you provide these white goods. And I would say, from my own personal experience, you're not legally obliged to provide them. But what you want to think about, Ravi, is, do you want to make your tenant's life easier, or as easy as possible, and cement a sound working relationship with the tenant by trying to help them? Or do you want to just sort of say, well, it was rented in the condition that you saw it, you were happy to take it as it was, and therefore we're not providing any of the white goods for you. It really does depend how you want to manage that relationship going forward. If I was in your shoes, Ravi, what I would do, I would actually look to put some appliances into the property if I felt that it was going to help oil the wheels of the relationship between you and the tenant, and make sure, more importantly, that they pay their rent on time, in full, every single month. Okay. Now, that is more important than anything else being a landlord. If this is the first time that you're being a landlord and you're renting a property out, then I can tell you that tenants that don't pay, or that are late in paying, or that don't pay in full, or that start to get cute and know the law, and understand that the eviction process is getting harder and harder for landlords, then it could be that this tenant moves in and they might pay their first month's rent and deposit up front, and then you never get another penny out of them for the entire time that it takes you to evict them. And that could be longer than 6 months. It could be 12 months. It could be even longer still, depending upon the court system and how well the tenants play the game, as it were. But you want to be very careful. And I'm not saying this as a gun to your head that you've got to do what the tenant asks. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is you need to get some professional support in there, such as a competent letting agent who's going to help manage that relationship through to successful ending of the tenancy. Now, there's obviously a decision that you've made to decide to put this property on the rental market rather than sell it. And it sounds to me as though this might be something that you'd be looking to do long term. So why not make the tenant comfortable in that property? Yes, it might cost you a couple of £100 to get some white goods in there, but why not make them really comfortable so that they'll pay long term and stay in the property and look after it? Because that's ultimately what you want as a landlord. Okay, the last thing you want is a tenant that's not paying the rent, trashes the property, and then leaves after it's cost you thousands of pounds to get them evicted, and then you've got to redo the property up in order to let it again, or to sell it. So the reason I suggest that you might want to do this is look at what I call seconds appliances. If you go to AO.com or appliances online, you can get very good quality seconds appliances that might have a dent or a knock in the side of them. So they're being sold at drastically reduced prices. They're still pretty much brand new. You still get all the usual warranty, etc., with them. But if it's things like a refrigerator that's going to go under the worktop, or again a washing machine that's going to go under a worktop, you're never going to see the dent or the knock in it or anything like that. But the point is, you're buying it for a fraction of the price as you would be new white goods and appliances. You can also maybe get a second-hand appliance in from eBay or something like that. But what you will need to do is make sure that these have been pat tested to ensure that they're safe for the tenant, and also that they're in alignment with current electrical regulations. I forget what the exact, I think it's ECEIC regulations. I think that's right. Forgive me if I'm not, but it's you just want to make sure that they're fully compliant with current electrical regulations, so that the tenant's not going to electrocute themselves and you're going to get sued out of everything that you ever own. Okay, so that's something to be aware of. And I would personally do it. I have done it in the past for tenants. I've had tenants that have stayed with me for 5 or 10 years as a result of just taking this one small step to look after them. Okay, and it shows willing from your side. The property's then complete. There's no arguments. You've done your best. And then if the tenant then decides to be difficult, you can manage them effectively out of the property. But for the sake of what would effectively be, I would imagine, less than 1 month's rent, you've got everything in place. The tenant's happy, and then you can carry on, with your life with a peace of mind, knowing that a managing agent is looking after the property and the tenant's happy. All right. So I hope that makes sense, Ravi. That's exactly what I would do in your situation. And hopefully that will ensure your relationship is as smooth as possible and everything's okay. All right. So best of luck with that. So that's all of the questions that we've had in this week. So thank you so much for all of your contributions. We're here every week doing this, taking all of your property questions that you send in to us, and taking the time to answer it in as much detail as possible, and pointing you in the right direction to the right resources to help you get the knowledge and information that you need. You can send your questions in to us via email, which is happytohelp@WiggyWam.co.uk. That's happytohelp@WiggyWam.co.uk. You can also go to our website to find a lot more knowledge and information in our learning centre. That's WiggyWam.co.uk. That's WiggyWam.co.uk. And if you want to go to the learning section on there, put /learn. You can also send your questions in via Twitter. Our Twitter handle is at WiggyWam_UK. That's at WiggyWam_UK. And again, we'd be delighted to take these questions in and answer them as we do each and every week. Please also share this with your friends and your family members and your social circles. Share it out on social media. There are literally hundreds of thousands of people every month that need help with their moving journey. And we'd love to be able to be a resource that helps and navigates and guides them through their journey to actually be able to make it a lot less stressful, a lot more fun, and to arm them with all the relevant information that they need to avoid the financial penalties and pitfalls that so often catch people out and cause them to be financially out of pocket, or very stressed out from the entire process. So please do consider sharing this with your friends and family in your wider network. And we'll be back next week, which we're very much looking forward to. So that's it from me tonight. Thank you so much indeed once again for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. You take care. Bye-bye.